Today we will be studying one very important topic, that is optical isomerism in glucose. My dear students, the term isomerism is not new to you all. You all have already studied about isomerism in your lower standards. Isomerism is basically the phenomenon is nothing but the fact of existence of two or more compounds possessing the same molecular formula. So when two compounds possess the same molecular formula, it is called as isomerism. We had studied about structural isomerism. Okay, and we had introduced stereoisomerism in our lower standard, that is in standard 11. So students, what is structural isomerism? Let us just revise it. So when two or more compounds have same molecular formula, but the structural formula is different, it is called as structural isomerism. Whereas what is stereoisomerism? So when the compounds have same molecular formula, but their arrangement of groups or atoms are different, that is their spatial arrangement is different, it is called as stereoisomer. So I hope you all are aware about structural isomer and you all are aware about stereoisomer. Optical isomerism is a part of or is a form of stereoisomer. So what exactly is this optical isomer? So when two compounds have same number and same kinds of bonds, okay, but they have different spatial arrangement of atoms, then it is called as optical isomer. But one important thing is that these are non-superimposable mirror images of each other. Now what do we understand by non-superimposable mirror images? I will give you all one simple example. When your right hand is placed on your left hand, will it give you all the same molecule? No, my dear children. So that is the example of non-superimposable image. Means what exactly it is. So the molecules cannot be placed on top of one another and give you the same molecule. These molecules are called as mirror images of each other. Now let us know what are enantiomers. Enantiomers are chiral molecules that are mirror images of each other. We can check the chirality of a molecule by doing one test or one example. That is, you all can draw the mirror image of a certain molecule and see if the two molecules are same or different. Now, if they are different, then the molecule is chiral. But if they are same, then they are not chiral. That is, they are achiral. So, students, each non-superimposable mirror image structure is called as a enantiomer, and that phenomena is called as enantiomerism. Now, we shall be studying about the optical isomerism in glucose. I hope you all know that the structural formula of glucose is C6H12O6. The structure of glucose has 4 chiral carbon atoms. Okay, that is at the C2, C3, C4 and C5. You all will be finding the 4 chiral carbons of the glucose. Now, if you observe the C2, C3, C4 and C5 carbon atoms of the glucose, you all will find that each chiral carbon has 2 distinct spatial arrangement of groups around it. If we want to calculate the optical isomer, then it can be calculated using the formula 2 raised to n, where n is the number of chiral carbon atoms. Now students, as we know that chiral carbon atoms on glucose are 4, that is at C2, C3, C4 and C5. So when we substitute this formula, this value into the formula, that is 2 raised to n means 4. So we will be getting 2 raised to n is nothing but 2 raised to 4, that is equal to 16 isomers. So students, the value of optical isomers of glucose is 16. Now my dear students, over here it is given that D plus glucose. Now what do you all understand by D? Okay, so students, can you all see the second last C5 carbon atom? So the hydroxyl group over here is on the right hand side. So students, the rotation will take place in a clockwise direction. Okay, that is, it will take place in a dextro position, and that is why it is written as D. And as the D glucose rotates plain polarized light clockwise, that is why it is denoted by the symbol positive. So that is why it is a D positive glucose. We came to know that the rotation of glucose is clockwise. Okay, that is, it moves from right to left. So that is why students, the value for its specific rotation is always in positive. So its value of its rotation is plus 52.7 degree. So due to its dextro rotation, glucose is also called as dextrose. Okay, so students, this is this formula. So you all can see in blue. So this 20, that is the temperature, and this D represents the wavelength of light. Okay, so it is given by alpha upon C into L. So alpha is the observed rotation. So whatever will be the observed rotation when that particular molecule is being rotating, then C is the concentration of sample solution. Okay, so how concentrated a particular solution which is taken as a sample is, and L is the length of the cell in dm. So 1 dm is equal to 10 centimeter. Always remember, the positive sign on glucose is due to the dextro rotation, that is due to the clockwise, whereas if it is negative, then it will be anti-clockwise. And keep one thing in mind, that the designation, that is the positive, negative, DL, it indicates the configuration of the glucose and not the sign of its optical rotation. Previously, we have studied about the linear structure of glucose, that was the Fischer projection formula. Now, the second type in which glucose can be represented is the cyclic structure. We studied various kinds of chemical properties of glucose based on Fischer projection formula. But students, glucose was found to exhibit many more chemical properties, but it couldn't be explained based on Fischer projection formula. And that is why it was very important that some other structure came into the picture, and that was the cyclic structure of glucose. So students, cyclic, as you all know, it is also called as ring. So ring structure of glucose fulfills all these requirements of glucose for studying the chemical properties. Molecule is found to have two cyclic structures, and they are alpha D glucose and beta D glucose. So students, when the bulky groups are on the same sides, then it is called as alpha, whereas if the bulky groups are on the opposite sides, then it is called as beta. And these two cyclic structures are in equilibrium with each other through the open structure. Now, open structure over here represents the Fischer projection formula. So, we are going to study about the cyclic structure of glucose. Now, understand how exactly is the cyclic structure of glucose formed. So, students, in this, the formyl group at the C1 will react with the alcoholic group at C5. As you all can see over here, now you all have to remember that whenever a aldehydic group reacts with an alcoholic group, it leads to the formation of hemiacetal structure. So students, over here you all can see a hemiacetal structure. Now students, in the below two structures, you all can see that a hemiacetal bond is being formed between the first carbon atom and the fifth carbon atom. Now students, in these two structures, there are two possibilities. That is, when this hemiacetal bond is being formed, then at the first carbon atom, either the OH can be on the right hand side or it can be on the left hand side. So students, over here in the first, you all can see that the hydroxyl group is on the right hand side. Whereas if you all see on the in the second structure, you all can see that it is on the left hand side. Okay, so students, as you all can see, the structure that is on the left hand side is called as alpha D glucose, whereas the structure that is on the right hand side is called as beta D glucose. Now we have to study why it is called as alpha D glucose and why it is called as beta D glucose. Now students, looking at the first structure that is of the alpha D glucose, you all can see that since the second last carbon has OH on the right, it is denoted by the capital letter D, that is the dextro. And students, you all can see that on the first carbon, the hydroxyl group is on the right hand side. So always remember that when the hydroxyl group is on the right hand side, it is denoted by alpha. So that is why this first structure is called as alpha D glucose. Now talking about the structure that is on the right hand side. So if you all can see that on the first carbon atom, the hydroxyl group is on the left hand side. So when this is the case, it is called as beta D glucose. So students, this was about the two cyclic forms of glucose, that is the alpha D glucose and the beta D glucose. Now students, these C1 carbon atoms are aldehydic carbon. So they on reaction with alcohol lead to different configurations. That is, when we reacted aldehyde with alcohol, we got OH group. Okay, so the OH group was either on the right hand side or it was either on the left hand side. So these C1 carbon atoms are called as anomeric carbon atoms. Okay, which leads to different configuration. And students, this alpha D glucose and beta D glucose, these two are called as anomers of each other. Now students, if you all see in both these structures, then the ring of the cyclic structure of the glucose, they contain 5 carbons and 1 oxygen. Now students, this cyclic structure of glucose is also known by a different name, and that is called as pyranose. Now it is called as pyranose because pyran is a ring which contains oxygen and OSE means sugar. So students, this glucose structure resembles a pyran ring. That is why it is called as pyranose. Friends, now let us understand one important concept, that is Haworth's projection formula. So we have already studied about Fisher projection formula of carbohydrates. So what is Fisher projection formula? It is basically used for sugars in their open chain form. Okay, that is the linear structure of the carbohydrates is the Fisher projection formula. Whereas Haworth's projection formula are often used to depict sugars in their cyclic forms. So remember, Fisher projection formula means open chain. That is, the carbohydrates are in their linear structure. Whereas when we talk about Haworth's projection formula, the carbohydrates or the sugars are in a cyclic form. So students, over here we will be studying about the Haworth's projection formula. Before that, let us know that the ring structure of glucose is formed by the reaction between the aldehydic group and the alcoholic group. So the aldehydic group of the C1 carbon atom and the alcoholic group of the C5 carbon atom, it forms a ring structure. And this ring structure is a hemiacetal structure. As students, we have already studied previously that when a aldehydic group reacts with a alcoholic group, it forms a hemiacetal structure. Now students, let us see the structures of Haworth's projection formula. Here you all can see a linear structure of glucose, that is the Fisher projection formula of glucose. Now students, we shall be seeing how this Fisher projection formula is being converted into Haworth's projection formula. So now students, you all can see that the groups which are on the right side of the Fisher projection formula will appear at the bottom side, whereas the groups which were on the left side of the Fisher projection formula will appear on the top. So see, at C1 you all are having this aldehydic group, then at C2 you all are having OH at the bottom side, at C3 you all are having OH at the top side, Again at C4 and C5 you all are having OH at the bottom side, and the last carbon is the bulky group, that is the CH2OH. Now students, we shall study how this Fischer projection formula is being converted into the cyclic Haworth formula. Now students, over here you all can see that these groups are forming a cyclic structure. So have a look at this. So it is forming a pyranose structure. Now this OH group, which you all can see, will form the bonding with the aldehydic group. As I have already explained you all that ring structure of glucose is formed by reaction between the formyl group, that is the CHO group, at the C1 carbon atom and the alcoholic group at the C5 carbon atom. So students, the formyl group and the alcoholic group at C5 will form a bond. Okay, so students, you all can see a arrow that has gone from this oxygen towards this formyl group. So students, over here you all can see a pyranose structure. Students, I hope you all are cleared with the term pyranose. Pyranose is a 6-membered ring that consists of 5 carbon atoms and 1 oxygen atom. Similarly, if you all see this Haworth projection formula, you all can see that it is a 6-membered ring with 5 carbon atoms and 1 oxygen atom. And that OSE is nothing but sugar. So it is a pyranose. It is called as pyranose. Now students, if you all can see over here, the first figure or the first structure is called as alpha D plus glucopyranose. Okay, so I have already explained you why it is called as glucopyranose and why it is not called as glucose. Pyranose because it is a 6-membered ring that consists of 5 carbon atoms and 1 oxygen atom. Now, why is it called as alpha? So students, when the bulky groups are on the one side, then it is represented by alpha. Now, if you observe the C1 carbon atom and the C2 carbon atom, then which are the bulky groups? So, but obvious, the hydroxyl groups are the bulky groups. And if you all can see properly, then both the hydroxyl groups or the bulky groups are in the same direction or are on the same side. And that is why it is called as alpha. And students, as it is dextrorotatory, that is why it is termed as a D positive. So the name of this is alpha D positive glucopyranose. And as C1 carbons are aldehydic carbons which on reaction with alcohol lead to different configurations. That is why these C1 carbons are also called as anomeric carbons. Now students, let us study the beta configuration of glucose. Okay, so students, now over here you all can again see that the C1 formyl group, the C1 carbon at the formyl group will again react with the hydroxyl group at C5 carbon atom. Over here you all can see that it has formed a bond and it is looking like a pyranose ring. Okay, so students, now let us see what is beta D positive glucopyranose. Students, the groups which appear on right side in the Fischer projection formula appear on the alpha side in Haworth projection formula. So you all can see that the alpha side is at the bottom, whereas if you all look at the beta side, then beta side is at the top. So students, and now again looking at the first carbon and second carbon. So you all can see the bulky groups. So over here again the bulky groups are the hydroxyl groups. So you all can see that both the bulky groups are in opposite direction or on the opposite sides, and that is why it is called as beta. Okay, and again students, this is a 6-membered ring with 5 carbon atoms and 1 oxygen atom. That is why it is called as glucopyranose, which is also dextrorotatory. So students, you all should note this difference, that when both the bulky groups are on the same side, it gives alpha configuration. Whereas if it is on opposite side, it gives the beta configuration. Students, over here you all can see Fisher projection formula that has been got converted into Havertz projection formula. So this linear structure is of the Fisher projection formula, and you all can see an arrow that is starting from C5 and it points towards the C1. Means what is happening? So a reaction between C1 carbon and C5 carbon takes place to form a ring structure, and the ring structures which are formed are alpha D positive glucopyranose and beta D positive glucopyranose. So we saw that when we reacted aldehydic carbon with alcoholic carbon, okay, so either OH came on the right hand side or it came on the left hand side. So in the first ring structure, that is the alpha D glucopyranose, you all can see the both bulky groups are at the lower side, at the alpha side, and that is why it is called as alpha D positive glucopyranose. And in beta D, you all can see that the bulky groups are on the opposite side. Okay. Look at C1 carbon and C2 carbon. You all can see that the hydroxyl groups are on the opposite side, and that is why it is called as beta D positive glucopyranose. I have already explained you all what is pyranose. Okay, so pyranose is basically pyran is a 6-membered ring that consists of 5 carbons and 1 oxygen, and OSE means sugar. So it is but obvious we are talking about carbohydrates, so we have to take into consideration the OSE, that is the sugar. There is a small and a very important topic in your syllabus, that is reducing nature of glucose. So let us understand what exactly is a reducing sugar first. So any carbohydrate whose structure contains an aldehyde or a hemiacetal in equilibrium with an aldehyde is called as a reducing nature of the particular sugar. Now we know that glucose is a monosaccharide that has a cyclic structure with a free hemiacetal group. So now in solution phase, the cyclic structure of glucose will open up into the carbon bearing the hemiacetal group. Now during this ring opening, the hemiacetal group changes into aldehydic group. So all the carbohydrates that are reducing sugars bear a free aldehydic group in their solution phase. So that is called as the reducing nature of glucose. Now students, glucose will give positive taste for Toluene's taste and Fehling taste. Now students, Toluene and Fehling, these both are blue in color in their solution form. So when they are being exposed to heat, okay, when they are heated, then they will change their color to blue. Means what? From this it is indicated that it is being reduced.